Olmo, another of these survivors from the goalless draw against Egypt in March, since the last time that Spain were in action. Iraq have played much more recently. This is the second of their 3 pre-FIFA World Cup friendlies. First pre-World Cup look at what Luis de la Fuente's side is capable of. It is Spain who get us underway, the second highest ranked nation in the world, against a team currently ranked 57th. Iraq would have been in pot 3 actually for the World Cup due to their world ranking if it wasn't for the fact they'd had to come through an inter-confederation playoff. And that is one of the reasons that the group that they will face at the World Cup is as daunting as it is. Spain will expect to navigate both this game and Tuesday's match against Peru before taking on Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia and Uruguay at the World Cup. Here's Gavi. Laporte. Alex Grimaldo is another of the survivors from the game against Egypt in March. And that is a throw conceded by a Leverkusen left-back. He's got a Nations League win and a Euro win already. In charge of Spain, Luis de la Fuente. There are plenty who believe that he will be guiding Spain to a World Cup triumph as well. Hussein Ali looking to poke the ball through. Al-Hamadi was involved as well. And Graham Arnold knows about navigating a route through the World Cup. He took Australia to the round of 16 4 years ago. It'd be quite something, though, if he was to get Iraq out of a group with France, Norway and Senegal. And this judgment by Marc Bernal, who's now looking to make amends for that. And Gavi, and collected the ball from his club teammate, was unable to make as much progress as he would have liked. Martin for Laporte. Ronaldo out wide. Here's Dani Olmo. He is one of the 2 players who aren't in the World Cup squad who are playing tonight for Spain. And Dani Olmo looking to navigate a route beyond Akam Shim. Martin, he won the Copa del Rey with Real Sociedad this season, played all 120 minutes against Atletico Madrid. And now he's getting his opportunity for the Spain national team for the first time. Laporte. Here's Gavi. Ferran Torres. Gavi. Pedro Porro. Ferran Torres. Ronaldo was loitering in the hope that the ball would break to him. Laporte appealing for handball against Ibrahim Bayesh, and seemed a fairly straightforward decision. Put himself in to the favourable position to control the ball, didn't he, Laporte? And Ibrahim couldn't prevent the ball striking his arm. Porro. It's a probing ball. Gavi is away. Had choices and instead found only Zaid Tashin. Anti-clearance. And Marco Farage is charged out. Play off Marc Bernal, who is the other of the two, along with John Martin. He's on the field from the off tonight, but isn't on the World Cup playing for Spain. And that's a mistake which Iraq can pounce upon. And from Farage, and Hamadi was just wondering whether the delivery could have been a little bit more precise. Joan Garcia, who's had an excellent season for Barcelona in their goal, got his debut as a substitute in March in the goalless draw against Egypt, and is involved from the off tonight for Spain. Laporte. Maybe for Alex Baena. Dani Olmo. Headed away by Hussein. And that's a free kick for the foul on Grimaldo. Second time already that Ibrahim Bayesh has been penalised. Grimaldo now has to think about retreating, but Laporte is there. Porro. Iglesias. Ferran Torres. Alex Baena. Oh, it's a wonderful reaction from Ahmed Bazil, because he'd have seen that very late. So close to 1-0 in favour of Spain. Alex Baena opted to go for goal, and having found a route through the legs of Zaid Tassin, it took splendid reactions from Ahmed Bazil, and just about strong enough fingertips to send the ball wide. Agony for Alex Baena, who thought that was his big moment. First corner of the game, the goalkeeper's dealt with it. And Dani Olmo is loitering. Spain looking menacing. Having struck the referee, he felt like he had no choice but to signal for a drop ball. I think Dani Olmo is pointing out that it probably would have broken to him anyway. Here's Laporte. Olmo. Ferran. Here's Al-Hamadi. This is Hussein. Ali Jassim. Marco Faraj. Against Pedro Porro. Headed away by Martin. Ali Jassim. Sit back from Marco Faraj. Having a little spell of possession. And it was Martin stepping across to make sure that Ali Jassim couldn't find a route through. And eventually that little expansive spell for Iraq is ended by a free kick against them. Well, here's the effort from Alex Baena. That somehow Ahmed Bazil found a way to turn aside. Akam Hashim. And Merkas Doski. Lovely from Bernal. Borja Iglesias. It's easy for the goalkeeper. You would expect his team to be on top. You'd expect them to have created an early chance. He wants to see a little bit more of the same. Laporte. Alex Baena. Laporte for Grimaldo. For Dani Olmo. It was Zaid Ismail who did the defending. Ronaldo. I'd like the ball back, instead here's Olmo. Martin. Gavi. He's been busy. Porro. For Ferran. For Porro. Alex Baena. Doski away. Iraq desperate to get out. Slowly but surely, though, Spain are settling into what looks to be quite an effective rhythm. Here's Ferran. Watched carefully by Marco Faraj. Martin. Not afraid to be expansive for Alex Baena. Very nearly back towards him by Borja Iglesias. Instead, Dani Olmo, who's just been very well marshalled by Hussein. Grimaldo. Knocked away by Zaid Tassin. Laporte for Grimaldo. Porro. Bernal. Ferran. Alex Baena. In the end, that was neither one thing nor the other. Some good stuff from Spain, just that final little bit that hasn't yet clicked. Cross was marginally too deep for Borja Iglesias. Not sure it was intended to reach Alex Baena. And once it did, Gavi was looking to get himself back on side. Well, if anything, the players on the bench for Spain tonight who aren't actually in the matchday squad are even more familiar than those in the starting lineup. 10 of their potential World Cup players not involved and watching on from the sidelines. Marco dealt with by Laporte, and now Borja Iglesias can let it run for Ferran Torres. Spain in business here. Ferran Torres going alone. Ruthless stuff from Spain and Ferran Torres. Quick as a flash from one end of the field to the other. Well, they came for goals tonight. They will hope that is just the first of them. And never mind the opponent, you simply cannot afford to give players of the quality of Ferran Torres that sort of space to run into, that kind of time to make up his mind. Ahmed Bazil has already made one very good save with his fingertips. He couldn't get enough on that shot, though, to turn the ball around the post. A 24th international goal for Ferran Torres. That takes him 10th outright all-time for Spain. Inquest begins for Iraq. Spain with the early goal. They lead 1-0. Danny almost stepping in Borja Iglesias, who was a key figure to the goal without having to get too heavily involved, more of a decoy than anything. Allowed to carry the ball forward. He uses the width very effectively. Marco Farage sees it safely behind. Pedro Porros was the final touch. There was the dummy from Borja Iglesias. He might have been expecting at one point a return pass, but Ferran Torres had eyes only for goal. And it is a goal for him of significance. It takes him ahead of a couple of very famous Spanish footballing names, Alfredo Di Stefano and Sergio Ramos, who he previously shared 10th place with in the all-time goal-scoring charts for Spain, which is one ahead of those two tonight. Alex Baena, nearly for Ferran. "21 goals for Spain in all, 21 goals for Barcelona in all competitions this season for Ferran Torres. Another title to celebrate as well. And a goal tonight to add to the 2 that he got in qualifying for Luis de la Fuente in Spain. Oh, Grimaldo quickly and Dani Olmo. Alex Baena. Grimaldo. Zaitassin behind. Well, Grimaldo is one of those who'll be hoping to seize his opportunity this evening. Been outstanding for Bayer Leverkusen, hasn't he? But only played once in qualifying. So, big chance this evening. Corner taken by Alex Baena. Dani Olmo. Martin. Here's Gavi. Alex Baena. Grimaldo. Determined stuff from Marc Bernal, but throw-in conceded. Probably needed a first-time cross here from Grimaldo. Just a little bit of impetus with the touch. May well have carried the ball out of play. Martin for the goal scorer Ferran. Borja Iglesias. Alex Baena for Borja Iglesias, whose run had come from an offside position. Not by much. He's been a busy boy this season. 50 games alone in the colours of Celta Vigo. Iraq have not had many opportunities to impose themselves and have certainly been on the back foot since conceding. And they've got to retreat again. Borja for Alex Baena. Gavi. Here's Martin. Not afraid to execute the big switch, is he? And now here's Grimaldo. And he's harmlessly behind off the boot of Alex Baena. Well, despite the changes tonight, despite the absentees. We're seeing some typically mesmerising stuff from Spain. Just a bit of the quality towards the end hasn't been up to the highest of standards, otherwise they might already be further ahead. Ibrahim for Hussein. This is Akam for Doski. For Ali Jassim. Akam. Wonderful pass. Doski. Oh, yes! Something very special from the boot of Mirkas Doski to get Iraq level. Who saw that coming? Not Joan Garcia. Well, Doski just made the run forward, had a look, and seemed to analyse very quickly that Joan Garcia had left a bit of space for him to shoot towards. He'll take that. Graham Arnold amongst those in disbelief at a first international goal for Mirkas Doski. They won't mind where they come from, whether it's tonight or at the World Cup, and they will take the sublime or even the ridiculous from a left-back, if that's what matters. Joan Garcia will know that he is partly responsible for that. Nothing he can do about it when you get caught out like that as a goalkeeper. There is no one to bail you out and nowhere to hide. Unai Simon, who is likely to be Spain's first choice again at the World Cup, he's amongst those watching on. David Raya, having played for Arsenal in the UEFA Champions League final, he's not in the squad. At least not this evening. Ferran for Borja Iglesias. Dani Olmo. Basile stood firm. And then the ball cannons behind off Gavi for a goal kick. Dani Olmo annoyed. Angle wasn't ideal, but he clearly feels he had the capability to get the better of Ahmed Basile from that position. Didn't need too much of a look at the goal, but could find only the goalkeeper. Well, Mirkas Doski will perhaps be a familiar name to anyone who followed the UEFA Europa League with interest this season. He helped the Czechia side Victoria Plzeň out of their group, but didn't see too much of that sort of thing from him. Laporte. Doski. He's already written his name tonight into Iraqi football folklore. Well, those like David Raya, who played in the Champions League final, only linked up with Spain yesterday, so that's why they're not involved. Dani Olmo. Hussein. Martin back to his goalkeeper. Grimaldo. Bernal for Olmo. Alex Bain. It's Ferran Torres. Olmo. Grimaldo. Olmo. For Grimaldo. Plenty to aim at. Away off Akam before it reached Borja Iglesias, and then Pedro Porro goes to ground and is very quickly told no penalty. That, however, will be a free kick and a yellow card for Marc Bernal. Frustration getting the better of the Barcelona midfielder as Marco Farage looked to escape. That was the moment that Pedro Porro went to ground under the challenge of Marco Farage. It all seemed to be going very nicely to plan for Spain when they scored first and were dominant. A bolt from the boot of Doski to equalise has just unsettled the hosts. Grimaldo. Alex Bain. Ferran. Martin. Gavi. Grimaldo. Alex Baena getting on the end of the cross, which is perhaps as good a delivery as we've seen from Alex Grimaldo so far. Just couldn't quite contort himself to direct the header on target. Ali Jassim. That's the return from Marco Farage. Zayed Ismail. Hussein Al-Hamadi. Borja Iglesias. Gavi. Ten first-half minutes remaining. The European champions would not at this stage to be expected to have been level with Iraq, who might have won 5 of their last 7. Not expected to trouble Spain unduly tonight. They have certainly managed to do that. Here's Martin. Ferran. Porro. Nakamaway. An infringement spotted. It'll be an Iraq free kick. Great to see Gavi back out there, isn't it, in Spain colours. His injury woes in recent times have been well documented. Prior to tonight, he'd played just 1 minute of football for Spain since November 2023. So whilst others might not be around to be involved tonight, it's very useful minutes for the likes of Gavi. Gavi. Doski there before the ball could reach Pedro Porro. Oh, nice from Marco Farage. He was fouled. Card coming out again. Gavi has been cautioned. A serious grappling with Marco Farage. Two Barcelona youngsters on the pitch, they've both been cautioned, Marc Bernal and Gavi. Hussein could do about keeping the ball in play. Ronaldo with the throw. I imagine there'd be a certain amount of anxiety amongst those on the field for Spain that they get another goal before half-time. Those who have been selected from the off have had some nice moments, but not so far enough of them. Alex Baena looking for Ferran Torres. Headed away by Ibrahim Bayesh. Here's Grimaldo. Alex Baena. Oh, lovely run. Gavi looking for Borja Iglesias. Really well defended that by Akram Hussein. But they couldn't get it away, Iraq, and Ferran Torres has hit the crossbar, perhaps via the fingertips of Ahmed Bazir. Very nearly a costly defensive hesitation. Ferran Torres has already scored and was that close to doing so again. Ahmed Bazil is having a good night in that Iraq goal. Alex Baena with the corner. Dani Olmo. When it works, it looks really impressive. Well, it was a lovely move, wasn't it? Gavi trying to find Borja Iglesias. And from that moment, Iraq didn't get the ball away, and they were very nearly punished. Dani Olmo fouled. But not hanging around to make much of a protest. Urgency from Spain in the final 5 minutes of the first half. Did draw their most recent game. Won't want a repeat of that outcome. Well, considering the amount of changes, the players on the field tonight who certainly won't be a week on Monday when Spain host Cape Verde. I'm sure that Luis de la Fuente isn't expecting to learn a huge amount. Gavi for Ferran Torres. Trying to find Dani Olmo. Well won that by Marc Bernal. Pedro Porro arriving with him. Ali Jassim doing some sterling work and turning defence into attack. There's Marco Farage. Ibrahim Baesh, who wanted the glory for himself when other options were available. Not two handy players being kept in reserve. Yamal and Nico Williams have both been selected for the World Cup despite their late season injury problems, and Luis de la Fuente is absolutely adamant they will both be ready to go in 11 days' time. Gavi. Returned to him by Pedro Porro, then Ferran Torres is off target. Ali Al-Hamadi. How far he's going to make it. It's eventually slowed down by Laporte. Zaid Ismail. Zaid Tassim. Akam. Doski. Al-Hamadi on the move from an offside position. Did look a little too good to be true. Here's Ferran. Pedro Porro. Bernal. Aymeric Laporte. Dani Olmo glanced on for Borja Iglesias, who was offside. Fine margins. It's well defended, wasn't it? Hussein Ali stepping across to make sure that even if he had been onside, Iglesias wouldn't have scored. Grimaldo, lovely first touch. Can't find Ferran Torres with the pass. Doski, scorer of that ridiculous equaliser, is on the move again. Marco Farage. Charged down by Pedro Porro. 1-1 at half-time. Ferran Torres had Spain in front when they were at their best. Merkas Doski with a quite sensational equaliser, catching out Joan Garcia, who was out of position when the left-back took aim. And since the equaliser, Spain have struggled to really impose themselves again at half-time at Diriyah. This is Aymeric Laporte. Jeremy Pino, Eric Garcia, Gonzalo, Sergio Gomez and Jesus Rodriguez all coming on. The last of those for Borja Iglesias, who is the last of the 5 coming off at half-time for Spain. Change in goal for Iraq. Jalal Hassan is coming on, as is a hugely popular and influential figure in Iraqi football. Ayman Hussein is about to be introduced to in his 94th cap. That has elicited a response from those here in La Coruña supporting Iraq. The player that scored the goal that sent them to the World Cup. The winner against Bolivia in Monterrey at the start of April. Spain opting to give opportunities to other players who aren't actually in the World Cup squad but involved tonight. Gonzalo Garcia is another of those. No Real Madrid players in the Spain World Cup squad, but there is now a Real Madrid player on the field this evening. Eight goals this season for Real Madrid. Tonight he is wearing the number 8 of Fabian Ruiz. So it is Iraq who get us underway at the start of the second half, having stunned Diriyah with the first half equaliser. And now determined to further ruffle Spanish feathers, but immediately Spain on the attack. And it's only just wide from the half-time substitute Jesus Rodriguez. One of the quintet of players sent on at the interval, making an immediate impression on the game. And wasn't too far away from announcing himself in spectacular fashion. Winning his second cap tonight, Jesus Rodriguez, after an appearance against Bulgaria during qualifying as a substitute. Just take Spain a little while, though, to settle into all the changes. And right on cue, an offside decision. Jesus Rodriguez. He's already made an impression. Gavi now wearing the captain's armband. Martinez still out there, but there's a change to the Spain defence with Laporte having been withdrawn. Oh, lovely little glance. Here's Gavi. This is more like it from Spain. And it is a deflection that sends the effort wide of Jalal Hassan's goal, but is it a deflection off a Spain player? Gavi found some space. Zaid Tassin looks to have got the final touch. That's certainly what Gonzalo thought. It will be an early second half Spain corner. That is brilliantly met by John Martin. Everything but the direction from the header. One of those on debut for Spain tonight. With a great opportunity to mark it with a goal. Knows he should have done better. Gavi working hard, but a little carried away.
Leave it! Leave it!
Akam Hashim. Hussein Ali. Good scurry from Sergio Gomez. Ball at rather than to Gavi, though. It was an awkward one to control. Ali Jassim. Doski. Does not deceive Joan Garcia again. Guided out towards Jesus Rodriguez. He did not get the movement ahead of him from Gonzalo. Marco Faraj is the player who's hurt. Jesus Rodriguez has come on with great intent to influence the game. How much more involved can Marco Faraj be after that blow to the head? Giving away to Aymen Hussein. Zaid Tassin. Forward towards Aymen Hussein. Gavi for Spain, fouled. Sure, Zaid Ismail agrees with that. Rodriguez, another who could make a debut tonight. Another of those called up to the matchday squad due to the sheer number of absentees from Spain's World Cup squad unavailable tonight. Doski. Ali Jassim. Sergio Gomez backpedaling. Having to defend again. Good pressure from Ibrahim Baesh. Iraq have won themselves a corner, their first of the game. Graham Arnold said there was a huge desire amongst the Iraqi contingent that they would be able to raise their level to play against the very best in world football. And France to come at the World Cup, they are offering an indication of what they're capable of against Spain. The only team in the world that France are ranked ahead of. Here's Iraq corner. Jean Garcia comes. Well, it's not convincing. Zaid Tassin very nearly directing the ball back goalwards. Called out for the goal. Not quite getting it right again there, Joan Garcia. He committed to coming. It was Ayman Hussein who made the contact, and Zaid Tassin trying to improvise. Gavi for Martin. This is Alex Baena. Doski there ahead of Pedro Porro, but Jalal Hassan didn't have anything else to aim at, so went for touch. Jesus Rodriguez, well controlled. Pedro Porro in support. Akam cuts out the cross. This is proving to be considerably harder work in Spain, who have lost just one of their last 36 internationals, would have been counting on tonight. Jesus Rodriguez, dispossessed. Ayman Hussein has somehow managed to keep the ball moving. Ali Jassim. Doski. Slightly heavy touch. Invited Jesus Rodriguez to step in. And that will be a Spain free kick, and the card is coming out as well. Zaid Ismail. Caution for the lunge. Alex Baena on the receiving end. Spanish reaction was that they felt that that was unnecessarily aggressive. We made 5 changes at half-time. Spain are preparing more before we reach the hour mark. Sergio Gomez has come across to take the free kick. That's it back from Alex Baena. Jesus Rodriguez. Alex Baena. It's a really difficult cross to defend. And Spain very nearly back in front. Gonzalo it was who made the run towards the near post. Really beautifully worked. Good strength and determination from Gonzalo Garcia to get there. He thought he was being impeded. It's at least 3 further changes. Marc Pubil is in the World Cup squad and he's coming on. So too, though, 2 further players who are making up the numbers tonight and getting their opportunity. Debuts for the national team. Javi Guerra of Valencia is introduced, and so too Beñat Trientes, who hasn't played for the senior national team before but did make 6 appearances for Spain at the Olympics 2 years ago. The Iraqi changes are on the way too. Lots of them. Alex Baena is the latest to wear the Spain captain's armband tonight. He's going for goal and has crashed the shot into Zaid Tassin. Ayman Hussein has been penalised. It is quite the lineup of substitutes ready to be introduced, isn't it? Well, Doski's withdrawn, the scorer of that thrilling Iraq equaliser in the first half. And he's far from the only one. Change is being made considerably faster than the 4th official would like. Or indeed the commentator. Mohamed Yahia is amongst those being introduced. And those who have made it to the hour mark have thoroughly enjoyed their experience of playing for Iraq against Spain at the home of Deportivo La Coruña. This was once a brilliant venue on the Champions League circuit, wasn't it, in the early noughties, when Deportivo at one point went as far as the semi-finals. Jesus Rodriguez on the move, but seen behind by Rebin Sulaka, another of those who's just come on. They can't play tonight. The whole of Spain will hope that, in particular, Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams as well are, as promised, fit. And when Spain open their World Cup campaign against Cape Verde, so far Luis de la Fuente has been fairly adamant that will happen. Pedro Porro. Jesus Rodriguez. Jalal away. After those 6 simultaneous changes, Iraq might just need a moment or two to settle into something resembling a rhythm. Here's Kevin Yacoub, one of those who's just come on. Cut out by Eric Garcia. Here's Turientes. The Iraq substitutes are desperate to have their moment tonight against Spain as well. Here's Ahmed Yahya. Well dealt with. It was Javi Guerra who stepped in for Spain. Whacked away by Eric Garcia. Iraq made 8 changes before the start this evening. They've now made 8 during the course of the game. Ahmed Yahya with the leap. Pubil. Alex Baena. Turientes. Need some creativity, need a threat from somewhere. Jesus Rodriguez has looked the man most likely in this second half for Spain. Some support now from Pedro Porro. Marc Pubil. And to make to the national team was for the World Cup. Talk about timing your run. Pubil with the ball forward, it's a really good one. Not yet away. Sergio Gomez for Yeremy Pino. Alex Baena. Yeremy Pino is in and is off target. even with the benefit of an offside position. Not as good as we've seen in terms of the passing in the interchange from Spain in this second half, but Jeremy Pino of Crystal Palace was well offside. And the captain's armband changes hands again because Alex Baena is withdrawn. And Mikel Merino, who was an unused substitute during the Champions League final at the weekend, so he is available to play for Spain tonight. And the Arsenal midfielder is one who, after his injury problems towards the end of the season, does need some time on the field. Eric Garcia for Sergio Gomez. Beyond the midway point in the second half, and 1-1 it remains. Ferran Torres in 16 minutes for Spain. Equaliser before the half hour. A thrilling goal from the Buda Murchestovsky. If it stays like this, he will be the toast of Iraqi football tonight. The previous meeting between these nations came at the 2009 Confederations Cup. The David Villa goal was the difference. Merino. Jesus Rodriguez. In from Merino. And again, Gonzalo. Free kick for the foul on Ali Jassim. Well, one of only 3 players, Ali Jassim, who started tonight and started the 1-0 win over Andorra in Girona on Friday, and he's still out there, felled by Javi Guerra. Forward for Ibrahim. Ali Jassim. Ahmed Kwazim. And again, Iraq have won themselves a corner. And of Jesus Rodriguez. Ahmed Yahia. Somebody just come on, has an issue. Rocky getting on though with the corner. They just feel there is something in the air for them tonight. Ibrahim Bayesh. Mohamed Yahia. There was the one complaining about an issue, and you can now see what it is that he's unhappy about. He was involved in a move that very nearly saw Ahmed Kwazim get in behind. I don't think, though, that it was self-inflicted, that wound. Maybe that was just the first instance in which he thought it was having an impact on him, and it does appear as though he's going to have to come off. So the substitute is substituted. It's not the only change. Ibrahim Bayesh is replaced by Youssef Amin. Mustafa Sadoun is the one who is on for Ahmed Yahia. Spain changes as well. Joan Garcia is withdrawn at the end of his full debut. And on in his place, another of those getting a chance tonight, not on the plane to the 2026 World Cup, but Leo Roman. On to make his Spain debut, the Mallorca goalkeeper. Sent forward by Rabin Sulaka. This is Kevin Yacoub. Ahmed Kwazim. Franz Putros. Zidane Iqbal. Youssef Amin, who's just come on. Ayman Hussein couldn't control. Marino. Nothing like as dominant from Spain as most would have expected. It's the unfamiliar look to the team and squad tonight has played a part in that. But regardless who was selected, the 7th win in 9 is what would have been anticipated by most. Is Beñat Eric Garcia. He's getting his first call-up for Spain since the last World Cup. Another who has timed their run of form to perfection. Eric Garcia. Pirouette from Yeremy Pino, and he can't control the ball in the process. He would want to win tonight, Luis de la Fuente. He exercised the most important thing tonight and against Peru on Tuesday. Spain do have a happy knack of finding their very best when it really counts at major tournaments. They've got a corner to defend here. Ali Jassim has gone across to take it. So Leo Roman has got some organising to do. Ali Jassim. Doesn't make it past the first man. Iraq are not settling for a draw, though. They seriously think, as Kevin Yacoub has just demonstrated, that they can further bloody the Spanish noses. Long years since Iraq last qualified for a World Cup. They lost all 3 games in Mexico against Paraguay, Belgium and Mexico. Is an explanation as to why they've got so little experience over the last few years of playing top flight global opposition outside of their confederation, but they've made a really decent fist of it tonight against Spain, showing the kind of resolve that will be required against Norway when they kick off their World Cup campaign, their first in 4 decades, on Tuesday week. That's well judged by veteran goalkeeper Jalal Hassan. Marc Cucurella alongside David Raya amongst those not just marching on from the bench but from the sidelines completely. Tonight it's a star-studded row of players who Spain haven't been able to call upon this evening. Here comes Yousef Amin. It took too long to make his mind up. Jesus Rodriguez. The ball in play, but couldn't keep it away from Rebin Sulaka. He was fouled, bit of ball, plenty of opponent yellow card.
Hoy somos en este partido 30.423 espectadores.
Strong challenge. Rebin might have felt a fair one. It's the follow-through that got him into trouble. This is not an issue for Spain and Luis de la Fuente in terms of the World Cup. Because the player who's struggling is not one that he's taking with him, but it's been really bright since he came on at half-time. Jesus Rodriguez, who plays his football in Italy for Como. Very nearly scored in the first minute of the second half, didn't he? Jesus Rodriguez jumped straight into the game, shot just wide of the post. Other than that, and the John Martin header wide, not too many moments that jump out from this second half where you would say, well, Spain might have, or should have scored. Pubil. Javi Rodriguez. Eric Garcia. Wonderful turn by Javi Guerra. Marino. Thunderous challenge. Really good one as well. Bernat Turrientes. Jesus Rodriguez. Seven minutes remaining for Spain to prevent it being successive draws as part of their World Cup preparations. Mikel Merino. Really great determination from Iraq, though, who didn't fold after conceding. Yes, the goal that they equalised with was improbable, but they have certainly been much more Spain's equal since that moment than they were before. And defensively, they continue to show admirable resilience. Franz Putros. Given away. Turrientes. For Pubil. For Eric Garcia. Tonight was billed as the launch pad to Spain's World Cup challenge. It's not going to feel like that if it finishes 1-1. Mikel Merino. Javi Guerra. Turrientes. Jeremy Pino. With a demonstration of just how difficult Spain have found it in the second half to create meaningful goal-scoring opportunities. Franz Putros. This will be a real confidence boost for Iraq after the incredible arduous journey that they went through to claim their place at the World Cup. To get a result against Spain would be a further demonstration, as if the 21 games in qualifying that they played weren't enough to demonstrate that their place is justifiably earned. Turrientes. Better from Spain, but Sergio Gomez couldn't direct the ball across the face of goal. We'll have to settle for a corner. Delivered by Sergio Gomez. Headed away, comprehensively so. Spain have got back into the shape they want, but that has afforded Iraq the time to do likewise, and Turientes harmlessly out of play. Here's Javi Rodriguez. Back to another of the debutants, Leo Roman, in goal. After the 0-0 draw with Egypt 3 months ago, a 1-1 draw with Iraq would look less than ideal for a team that sailed through qualifying, winning their first 5 and drawing the final game against Turkey when, to everybody bar the mathematicians, they were satisfactorily top of the group, whatever the outcome. Jassim has done well. Sizrebin. Franz Putros.
Slow. Hey, Putros, don't pick up the ball. Don't pick up the ball.
Very clear instructions. They belong to the Aussie accent of Graham Arnold, making sure that Franz Putros is not in any great hurry to get this throw-in taken. Should be another feather in the cap of the 62-year-old Australian head coach of Iraq, who's won 9 of the 14 games since he took over to salvage Iraq's World Cup qualifying campaign just when it looked like it was faltering. "60 seconds in stoppage time, away from a famous result. That would give the nation a lift. Handed away by Manaf Younis. Pubil. Javi Rodriguez. Spain have won 13 of their last 17 games at home. Spain wanted a free kick for handball, instead they've conceded one. We'll go all the way back to September 2022 for the last time that Spain lost at home. That was against Switzerland in a Nations League game. They've only failed to win on 4 occasions since before tonight. They've got 3 minutes of stoppage time to secure themselves a win this evening. Picked on by Ayman Hussein. Putros had a swing but didn't make contact with either the ball or Jesus Rodriguez. The latter of the two things there was the most important. Eric Garcia. Jesus Rodriguez. And his was the last touch under pressure from Franz Putros. Strong, determined. Iraq will want to demonstrate more of the same when it comes to the World Cup proper. It's nothing more than a warm-up, but it's a really important step on the learning curve for the team ranked 57th in the world. And they've got 100 seconds of the contest to see through now. Jesus Rodriguez, still hopeful, still believing. But Spain simply have not been able to find a durable way of threatening this really resolute Iraqi defence in the second half. Do play one more time, Iraq, before the World Cup. A friendly on US soil against Venezuela. But whatever happens in this game, or whatever happens in that game, the draw in this game will really galvanise them ahead of their return to the big show after a 4-decade absence. Ayman Hussein, a long way back now, helping out. Is there one final moment, perhaps? How eager are they on the break? Yusuf Amin. There are options to choose from. He wanted to settle for a corner. He's not going to get that, but he will see the ball behind for a goal kick. And Graham Arnold has got Iraq believing. He's got the support of a fan base who've embraced him. And he's got a famous outcome tonight. A draw for Iraq against one of the World Cup favourites. Unexpected, but very welcome for them. Questions for Spain on a night when so many of their key players were absent as to how they failed to overcome an opponent that they would have expected to beat, especially after they were put in front just after the quarter of an hour by Ferran Torres. But after that, Murchestovsky equalised with a quite sensational strike, and Spain didn't look threatening often enough from that moment on to seriously claim they deserved anything better from their World Cup send-off from home soil. Full-time at Estadio Municipal de Riazor in La Coruña. It has finished, somewhat surprisingly, Spain 1, Iraq 1.